Hey everybody, this is Joshua with the Tendonitis Expert, and this video is about the basics of bicep tendonitis. And that can be biceps technically or bicep, but most people use bicep, and when they're searching for it in Google they use bicep. So bicep or biceps doesn't particularly matter. What does matter is the tendonitis and the pain. So let's talk about that. So quick look at the anatomy. There's two attachments up at the shoulder, and there's one attachment in the forearm. And you can have tendonitis symptoms either here or tendonitis symptoms at the elbow. Usually when it's up here, we just call it shoulder tendonitis, even though technically it can be the biceps tendons, one or both. But most people, when they're talking about biceps tendonitis, they're going to have pain down at the elbow. And it's important to know that the biceps is not the only muscle involved. It's all the muscles are involved. So when you have biceps tendonitis, you don't have an issue with the tendon. You really have an issue from here to here, because there's multiple things happening. And that's why we say that tendonitis is a dynamic, meaning there's multiple factors at play. There's multiple things happening. And tendonitis specifically, whether it's biceps or anywhere else, tendonitis is tendonitis. And tendonitis is primarily made up of three factors: muscle and connective tissue tightness, the chronic process of inflammation, inflammation, and I'm not going to spell this out, nutritional insufficiency. So each of these factors, tightness, inflammation, and nutritional insufficiency, they all are present. They all play off each other. And when you have this one, it makes this one worse. When you have this one, it makes this one worse. When you have this one, it makes this one worse. When you have that one, it makes that one worse. So they all play together. And that's why most treatments like rest and anti-inflammatories and corticosteroid injections and splints and braces and even surgery are going to fail to fix anything, because they don't adequately or effectively deal with the tightness, the cause of the inflammation, or the nutritional insufficiency. So if you want to get rid of your biceps tendonitis, you have to deal with nutritional insufficiency, inflammation, and tightness. So an interesting thing to note about biceps tendonitis in general, and I don't say that activities or hobbies or sports cause your biceps tendonitis, because really it's not the activity, it is the tightness, the inflammation, and the nutritional insufficiency. But it's interesting to notice with the biceps, this handsome devil here, which is not me by the way, is the mechanical leverage is pretty poor. Muscles contract and they pull on the connection, and that takes, let's do that there, and when that muscle pulls this way on the forearm, it takes the forearm that way. But that's a pretty poor mechanical advantage. Ideally you'd have a connection here, but we are obviously not built that way. So when you are using a bicep and using weights, etc., it's not necessarily that there's a lot of strain on the muscle or the tendon, but do be aware that there is a mechanical disadvantage happening. So what that leads to is more tightness. And that's a simple way of saying that, but just be aware that when you use your biceps, then you're creating tightness. And that tightness becomes normal. So ideally our muscle is this long, but over time and with use, the muscle becomes this long. And then the nervous system goes, well, hey, we're like that. We've been like that. It must be normal. So it's the new normal. So you go to sleep at night, and this is, you don't relax to here. You relax to here because that's your new normal tone. And then over time, connective tissue shrink wraps down to fit. And then you're literally stuck tight. And then you have a muscle that's too tight already, that's constantly pulling on its attachment 24/7. You can imagine how that would irritate things. And then it's easy to get tendon pain, tendon inflammation, etc. But even then, and this is the most important thing about biceps tendonitis, again, is it's not a tendon problem. You don't have a tendon problem. You have a problem from here to here. It's an ecology. And it's made up of, or the problem's made up of tightness, inflammation, and nutritional insufficiency. And yes, I'm repeating that, stressing that, but I'm doing that for a reason. Because if you have bicep tendonitis and you want to get rid of that bicep tendonitis, you must get rid of the tightness and get rid of the inflammation and correct the nutritional insufficiency. That right there is the fix to bicep tendonitis. So if you'd like to know more about bicep tendonitis and what to do about it, visit my website, tendonitisexpert.com, and find the appropriate page.